Coming to you from Australia, World on the Fly, where we examine what's happened over thousands of years to give us a world that we can now easily look at using a computer. That's Australia. A friend of mine said, why don't you zoom into Sydney? And I'm going to do that now because I want to show you the contrast of between the man-made areas and the natural areas. Once upon a time, as is the theme of everything I say in World on the Fly, all this green area here, about 500 miles in from the coast, and down the entire east coast of Australia, was all dark green. It's possible that the desert was there, that's still debatable. But if you can see light green around the top here, it's all light green. See, up until about 500 miles inland, light green with patches of dark. Patches of dark. That was all destroyed by man. The patches of dark was all dark. All the light green areas were dark, especially in Western Australia. And here in Western Australia, I've got a movie. There's a movie here. I'll show you on YouTube. All right. Y-O-U. YouTube. And the YouTube, it's called Among the Hardwoods. Among the Hardwoods. The Hardwoods. Among the Hardwoods. And this particular movie, which was official government movie, right? Came out in about 1949. And off the Aussies go. See, and the hardwood forests of Western Australia are a delightful spectacle of natural magnificence and grandeur as this bloke, this Aussie bloke and his mate go off to cut it down. And here they are sharpening their axes. The Jarrah tree, often gained a height of over 250 feet, which is well over 100 meters. And they're going to chop this tree down. God knows how old it is, but it's not a year old or 2 or 3 years old. It could be 1,000 years old, or it could be 2,000 years old. And this was something that they did 3 or 4 a day, cutting them up like sausages every day for hundreds of years. There's even a sport in Australia called the chop, where they try to see who can chop the quickest. And it comes from this activity, where they hauled with bullocks these huge logs. And you know what they did with them? Aside from cutting them up for, buildings and that, I'll show you at the end here. They made them into, they made them into blocks. Where's the bit at the end? Blocks to pave the roads of London. Here we go. See the cedar? These are hardwood Jarrah blocks that they paved the streets of London with. I thought this was fascinating. What's that? See? They're all rotted away now. That tree was there for 2,000 years until it became blocks. And all this area here would have been Jarrah. And that was taken out over a period from 1949 to about 1969. 20 years. Those trees were taken out by hand. They didn't have chainsaws. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a dedicated job that people assign themselves to clear land. It's called clearing for pasture, to grow cattle, which is the main game in most Western civilized countries. Beef and wheat. Some of the number one dishes in most of the Western civilized countries consists of beef wrapped in wheat. In Asia, it's called the dim sim. You know, you've got meat wrapped in wheat. In Lebanon, it's the kebab, meat wrapped in wheat. In Australia, it's the meat pie, meat wrapped in wheat. In Germany, America, it's the hamburger, which was named after Hamburg, actually. Meat wrapped in wheat. And hot dog, meat wrapped in wheat. The reason is because there's only two products that and dairy. There's the three. Dairy, meat, and wheat is the mainstay of all civilization. And they have to clear that land, you see, get rid of all those pesky trees in order to carry out this activity. And you'd think that might be okay, as long as it was limited. But there's no limit to the number of cattle and the amount of wheat that wants to be grown. And all this area here, this is where wheat originally came from the what they call the Fertile Crescent, the Fertile Valley, the Tigris and Euphrates rivers here. These are the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. And all this area here, wheat was growing naturally among trees. There would have been the heavily forested area here and a little bit of wheat. So these are the first people that did it. Chopped down all the wheat, all the trees to grow wheat. And look what's left, nothing. If you see a documentary on the Nile Valley, which is here, they'll take you down on the ground, and go, oh, look at all this beautiful production we're doing here. Look at all the crops we're growing. Oh, this is fantastic. But if you zoom out, you see there's just a tiny little green sliver of a thing. The rest of the place, which is like, it's like 0.01% of the top of North Africa is fertile now. The rest of it is a desert. But we did find something here in the middle of the Algerian desert. And when we go into episode 12, World on the Fly 12, I'm going to show you exactly what that was. You're going to be fascinated. Stand by for World on the Fly 12. If you want to binge watch, I know that's what you people do now. Binge watch. Binge watch.